Hey guys, Jake here at Pear Ranch, and we're doing another Getting to Know the Pear Baby session. If you missed the first one that we filmed, it was with Cody, and I talked at the beginning of that about where these horses came from, me getting to know them, a little bit about their breeding. So I'm not going to talk a lot in this one about that, but I'll mention a little bit. This horse is Drift, and his daddy is the same as Cody's daddy and Rosie's daddy. And that horse, Okies Totin' Guns. Oh geez, now I forgot the registered name. Don't fault me on it. I got so many of these names in my head to try to memorize. And he's a grandson of Mr. Gunsmoke. We call him Marvin. Don't forget that. And Marvin's a pretty cool horse, and these horses that are by him really are nice, and they kind of got this grit to them. They're tough. They really can get down and kind of get to work. They're not fragile, and I like that a lot about them. And Drift here is the introvert. His brother Cody is a busybody. Although they're kind of getting both more and more balanced the more and more I do with them. And Rosie's kind of a nice in-between. She's my hot little redhead girl. So these horses have about 35 rides on them. They've had the last 3 or more weeks off. Cody and Drift and Spike were with me on my spring and beginning summer run of teaching clinics. So they got to travel all over. And by the end, because Spike kind of found his forever home, the Bay Boys got to take turns being my demo horse. And so some of the demos that we did was okay. And by the way, this is their first time doing this. Okay, and it's really nice to be able to have the foundation, the understanding of pressure, and nice built-up confidence to be able to then learn something on the fly and make it look like they've done it numerous times. So you can see me just kind of squeezing on his nose here, and when that started to give, then he started licking and chewing and blinking a bit more. And there you kind of see him start melting. And that's just, he looked fine, but his internal meter was kind of going a little bit. Okay, and so by me just loving on him, it just helps him relax to another layer of being settled. You hear him start taking deeper breaths. Okay, another thing you'll see me do sometimes with these horses is get a hold of their nose, their top lip here. Let me just squishy lip. Let me just squishy lip. Let me just squishy lip. See, just by kind of rubbling and playing with that, you saw him open his mouth there and kind of yawn and break that seal. There, see, where he kind of shook it off. I didn't even have to get a hold of that lip. So now let me do that again, and I'll kind of get a hold of the lip this time and show you. I'm just going to kind of keep playing with this instead of grabbing the halter. So I could get a hold of the lip here, and technically it's like a little lip twitch, but by playing with this and squeezing it till they kind of release that mouth, it's a trigger that I've kind of found and help with some of that relaxation and confidence. Again, I talk a lot about the nose and the mind are the same thing, and so if it got tension in the nose and in the mouth, they've got tension on their mind. And so if I can kind of play with that till he wants to bring that head down and relax, and he's broken that seal and really started working that tongue all around, it can just be a little trigger to help encourage some relaxation. Okay, let's check on our cinch here and start moving this horse around. So we use this horse to film the last 2 videos of our Art of the Circle. Filmed the first parts with Spike, and since Spike isn't here to help us finish, we got this horse. So now want to start thinking about a little game. The rope was off the ground, so I was getting ready to offer him a correction. Well, he offered to correct himself and kind of get bent, which I like. Okay, the rope starts coming off the ground. I'm going to give him the good deal before I give him the not so good deal. He chose to kind of take that and come in here. There we go. I want to just kick up that gear, but keep him connected. And if he drifts too far out, the rope came off the ground, that was his chance. There's the good deal, there's the not so good deal. And he kind of got with the program. There, now we're holding that connection better and better and better and better. There we go. And I'm going to quit when he offers me an even stronger connection, really looks at me. And if he'll get a lot of release and relief when he does that, he'll just hold it more and more. Feels good, huh, buddy? So he's kind of half almost asking for me to play with this mouth a little bit here. Just kind of keep fiddling here. There we go. And that just keeps help building his confidence to have his face handled and his mouth handled and his nose to soften and relax. Good. So I like that curiosity to look at the flag and sniff on it. I'm going to move it out to bring it back to him, and I'll just shake it a little bit so that he knows. Let's kind of move. So the rope is off the ground. There, he made a good choice. I'm not doing anything here. My hand is hooked on my pocket. There's where I want him to be. So he's finding the balance in his impulsion now, and how to kind of stay engaged, stay lively, and not throw the brakes on too hard, but be soft about how he comes off the gas pedal without getting jumpy, which I like. An introverted horse sometimes can be sticky on the gas pedal to get going, and when they do on stick, sometimes they goose and jump. Okay, there, I like that. Yeah, deep breath. Just kind of massage behind his ears here. I'd like that to be a little softer where he could just relax that down. There we go. Well, it's easier on my arm to rub you here with your head down. Good boy. Okay, let's do a little cantering. So we're going to allow him a little more space with this faster speed. He's learning to carry more shape and relaxation and confidence at the faster speed. You'll see him kind of be flirting with his impulsion and breaking gait. I'm going to start holding my slack with my stick hand, and this gives me this lead hand to kind of lift on this rein and start encouraging him to tuck his chin in shape to where if I could release him out of that tuck, he could stretch that head and neck down. And if he doesn't find it, I can start kind of encouraging him with a flag. Not stop. If you want comfort, you need to stretch. There. If you want comfort, you need to stretch. There. So you can see he doesn't have bad shape, but I want him to be confident to stretch and relax a bit more. There. And that's just telling of the little bit of tension that he carries, just naturally as a more introverted horse. He's being more thoughtful and busy in his mind versus being busy in his body. There, see now the driving pressure started to push that head down. Now offer him a little more feel with the rein. Offer him a little more feel with the rein. There's a little start, and you're seeing me going up, up, up. He's allowing me to lift each stride of the canter up, and when I quit lifting him up, he just melted. Lift, lift, lifting him up. You can see that lookiness with the flag. It's like the other horse. He's got some nice cow in them, both these horses. First time I took them in the pen with the cows, they just went right up there and got to work with picking one and chewing on them. Okay, so we're going to kick it up to the trot. We're going to look at some of that stretch. Good. This is something I started teaching them on our trip. There we go. See, that helped him relax. There. And see, then his body just got that much softer at the canter. Okay. Let's do our horsey burpees. This is a great little exercise. Nose, neck, shoulder, ribs, hip. Stand still, forwards, backwards, right, left, up and down, all the directions. By doing it on the saddle horn there, the rope doesn't tell the butt to move, and that's where my reins are going to be, it's up there in front. So it really tells, can I get a hold of the nose all the way through the body to the hip. Let's do a little outer work on the fronts, just so you guys can kind of see him do that bare minimum that I teach. Again, I love them when they can stretch and relax in their head and neck. Lets all the blood run to their brains so their brains can grow bigger. Gets the front and the back end nicely connected with the diagonal pairs. That helps the quality of all their movement and helps with connection through their whole body. Let's just do a little backing. With the Cody horse, we kind of just pushed them backwards with our hand. I don't teach a whole lot of rope wiggling anymore, but it's not a bad thing for a horse to know. There's a lot of people out there that do it. And that's just because it's real easy to get a horse being high-headed when you're doing that. So I might shake this rope at him and then kind of back it up with, hey, your nose could be down and relaxed. There we go. Again, I'm herding his nose backwards. It's a lot softer and more rhythmic. Good. Now we're getting a little more. Each little shush was kind of getting us a foot moving, which is how I like it to feel. All right. I talked about it in the session with Cody. Horses that are going to be my horse, I don't always ride them in a snaffle. I don't feel the need to. Now, if the horse needs it, that's what the horse needs, and I'm going to do that. But I definitely ride a horse that I might be training for somebody else that needs to go into a bit to understand snaffle bridle. It's just a simple little 3-piece so that it doesn't scissor down on them. You're good right here. I like that he's putting his head down, but I want him to just be confident with that, not feel like he's got to try to get away from it. Again, this goes back to handling that nose like that to just build that confidence there. These guys don't got a lot of sessions riding in these snaffles, probably under 10 rides. I'm just looking for him to not try to escape, but find some comfort living underneath that thing. There we go. And by just spending that little bit of time, that'll just help him get more and more comfortable. Again, he hasn't been bridled in 3 or more weeks, so I don't fault him without a lot of experience there of maybe I don't want to do that. By just being patient, giving him a chance to share how he feels, listening to it, and then kind of working on saying, hey, you know, this ain't a bad deal. Then he can start going, oh yeah, you're right, that was silly. Okay. I'll just kind of lead him off and go for a walk. Again, I like that he follows that rein down and stretches out. Don't want him rooting through it, but I don't want him hiding from it. And the longer they can kind of get in their neck like this in the beginning, it's nice because they're really getting forward and relaxed. Okay? In my opinion. Somebody else can tell you something different, but in my experience, this is something I really look for and I like. Okay, and then I just start tipping his nose and neck, right and left. Again, my hands are just kind of fixed here. I'm using my right leg to push some bend in his body. Now I'm just going to hold this till he kind of softens to that a little bit better. There's better. It wasn't being bad or too heavy, but it was heavier than I wanted to feel, so I just kind of waited for him to offer me a little more softness. Like I like that feel right there. My hands are fixed and he's kind of staying in the middle of those reins, and if I just squeeze with both legs, he's like, see, he's offering to do that. I'm just squeezing, I'm not trying to lead him. So it just shows you that his mind has these ideas about turning around there. So he's kind of ready to then offer that. Good little leg yield out to the fence. Again, I'm mostly just squeezing with 2 legs, letting him kind of offer some stuff. So that he can just continue to feel relaxed. And then I could just release and go, wow, that was cool. And if he gets a release when he does that kind of a move, he'll just start offering it more and more. Okay, let's think about a trot here. So, introvert, so a little stickier in the feet. Just be patient, because he's not being resistant, but he's also not been rode a lot, so giving him a chance to kind of take himself forward versus me just jam on the gas. It keeps me from finding sticky spots or spooking him. Yeah, I already talked about introverted horses in the forward. Again, my hands are just kind of fixed here at the front, and I like that he's just kind of finding a way to relax to that bridle and keep the reins soft himself. feel. Just setting my hands, and all I'm doing is just riding him forward with my legs. Turn him loose. Okay, let's kick it up a notch. I offered to soften his nose and neck. Right away, that kind of helped him with that. Again, all I did is take my legs off, and that allowed him to just throw the brakes on. Now, I just lead his feet over there. Sometimes I might push his feet with my legs. I want both working. Just kick it up here to a trot. Again, my hands are fixed. I'm not fiddling to mess with his mouth. Hands are just fixed here on my thighs. And he can just show us where he's comfortable there or not. I want to know how he feels. Oh no, what happened? Well, sorry for about the technical difficulties there. We lost our audio, whether it cut out from the heat or what, not quite sure. But now we're loping this horse around. You can kind of see how nicely these Gunsmoke horses can scooch their little butts. And that's just, again, taking the legs off, letting off the gas, allowing him to stop. My hands in the front were fixed, not pulling him to that stop. So we get him going here. See, we spiraled into this nice smaller bit. We start letting off the inside leg, closing on the outside, letting those front feet come around. I talked about this in the Getting to Know Cody video. You know, I'm not a reining trainer or a reined cow horse trainer, but I can set these moves up to start having that softness be in there. So there's some fun stuff. So then depending on where these horses go, they have the foundation to go specialize. Okay, and you can do some fun things, but you start adding a lot of that fancy stuff, the price tag just goes up and up and up on these horses. You can see some of this nice lateral work, that right hind of that left front, just driving up and under there. So that's a nice shoulders right. And some leg yielding to the outside. Change the bend. Shoulders left. A little bit of pushing the hip around. So it starts to turn towards haunches in. And these bay boys have a little bit of that haunches in work. There you see some quick little start of it. So hands on the rail. You see me showing. Keep your hands over there. Inside leg off, outside leg back. And brings that hip in. Again, just working on that lateral work so you can line up the different diagonal pairs. Hands to the rail. Again, you can see his nose is to the left. I'd like it to start being able to come to the right, but he's going to need to have a little more time and energy put on that. And that's something you can start teaching on the ground. Again, just the introduction of these pieces, and that starts setting them up for control of the body parts and building towards lead change pieces. Again, sorry we lost the direct feed, so you're getting me doing voiceover, just sitting with you. And so I'm watching just like you are, kind of explaining what you're seeing me work on. So this is kind of the very end of the session. Just setting up so you can see these guys now with some good confidence in yielding can really start doing some patterns and purpose. So this purpose, of course, is opening and closing the gate. These horses got to start doing some demos for me while I was in Wisconsin this June. It's now the beginning of August, and one of those demos was building the pieces for good opening and closing the gate. And you can see me here yakking about just finishing with being close where you can rub the gate, have that horse be happy and comfortable just being there. So it's nice to see this horse can kind of get to work and then turn him loose, and he's happy and contented just to eat grass, but he's not having to be ravenous or pulling on your hands. So again, just nice to see these young horses being able to get to work, have some fun, have all these building block pieces, and I've had a few different people be able to just hop on that I'm invited to ride this horse just to kind of see how he was going. And it's always so nice to just see somebody be able to just take your horse and you go, okay, well, you know how to ride, there you go, have fun, and see what they can do with it versus managing the whole situation. So keep following along on these Pear babies, and we'll keep bringing you more. But if you're interested in having one of these horses be your forever partner,